We've all heard the saying, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. And this couldn't be any more true when it comes to getting fit, getting in shape, especially with summer right around the corner. We gotta get down to business. Without a plan, you are leaving your health and your fitness up to chance. And as a busy mom myself, I know what happens to me when I leave things up to chance. Stop waiting for the right day, stop waiting for the right moment, for the right time, for enough motivation. Just start now, start today. As a mom of 4, I have a passion for helping other moms get fit, take control of their health, and just feel their best. I am in the middle of a summer glow up meal prep series. If you missed any of the other episodes, don't worry, you can always go back and catch up with those meal preps after you're done watching today's, and I'll link some of them at the end of today's video for you. I have made this summer glow up meal prep as easy as possible because I'm a busy mom. I don't want to be spending all afternoon in my kitchen meal prepping when I could be doing other things, and I have lots of things to do. So I created a meal plan with a grocery list. I have an order of steps to just stay on track and to get this done quickly and efficiently. So if you're ready to finally take action, meal prep so that you have healthy, high protein meals ready to go in your fridge, I'm here to help you. And if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe and leave a comment below because I love hearing from you guys. On the menu today, we are making 3 things. We're gonna be making open-faced turkey burgers. Summer's almost here. Everybody loves a good burger, and I'm gonna make it healthy, high protein, lean, and delicious. We're also making a pulled chicken bowl. This is gonna be so yummy. It's really simple to make, which is what I love. All you have to do is pour a jar of salsa in a slow cooker with a few spices and just let it go. And then you shred the chicken up at the end, put it on some rice, add some yummy ingredients. Delicious. And for our snack today, we are gonna be making a collagen chocolate protein bark. I'm really pumped about this. I think it's gonna taste so good. It's gonna hit the spot, especially in the afternoon when I personally love to have a little treat with my coffee. I also made high protein cheesecake bites in a previous meal prep. Bomb. If you haven't tried those yet, make sure you go back and check those out. But today we're doing chocolate because girls gotta have her chocolate. Yeah. When meal prepping, I always recommend make it fun, make it enjoyable, get yourself a cup of coffee, put on some good music, listen to a podcast, just enjoy your time meal prepping. Otherwise, you aren't gonna wanna do this on a regular basis. And if you wanna be successful on your fitness journey, you gotta make meal prepping or at least cooking healthy food on a regular basis just part of your routine. So have fun, make it enjoyable, and you're gonna stick with it. Grab your coffee, let's cook. I've got my coffee, I've got my meal prep order of steps printed out. I'm just gonna follow it along as I go. It has everything that I need to know in order to get everything done. It will tell me what ingredients that I'm chopping, what bowl it should go in, what plate I should put it on. It just simplifies everything and makes sure that I'm following the order of efficiency. Does that make sense? Yeah, you get what I'm saying. One of the things that I like to do when I'm meal prepping is start earlier in the day so that it's not as overwhelming and I'm not doing everything all at once. So what I did earlier was I got my chicken breast in the slow cooker. I added all of the spices and everything. I'll go back and show you how I did the chicken, but that is one of my biggest tips is you don't have to do everything all at once in a couple of hours. You can always spread it out and do some things earlier in the day. You could do it all at once as well. That's why I have this order of steps. But if you get overwhelmed easily, it might be better for you to spread things out, do some chopping here and there. And then when it's time to actually do the cooking part, you can do everything together. Okay, let's go. First thing we're gonna do is gather all of our ingredients, put them into piles based on their category. So I'll put all of my protein items together, my vegetables together, my canned goods, baking goods, that sort of thing. And then it's easy for me to grab whatever ingredient that I need. First of all, I wanna say that crock pots are a gift from God for busy moms. Seriously, one of the best inventions ever. I love this salsa chicken recipe. I have actually shared a similar recipe in one of my What I Eat in a Day videos. I love it because all you have to do is add in a jar of salsa with some spices. You set it on high for a few hours, or if you have more time, if you want to start in the morning, you could set it on low for maybe 6 to 8 hours. And then when you're ready, just shred it up with 2 forks. It always turns out so moist. It's so easy to make, and I love that you can use the chicken in so many different ways. Already done the chicken, and now we are on to chopping the veggies. And it specifically says I am going to need a bowl for my turkey burger mix, a plate for my turkey toppings, a tray for my asparagus and mushrooms and cheese, and a small bowl or a plate for cilantro and lime. So I'll get those out and get chopping. So I'm gonna get started on some of the fresh ingredients, and the first thing I'm gonna do is grate up a zucchini, which is gonna go into the turkey burgers. We all know how dry turkey can get, so to help with that, I'm grating 1 zucchini and I'm gonna put it in this fine mesh bag. You could also use a cheesecloth, or you could even just squeeze it out with your hands. What really matters here is that you're getting out as much of the water as possible. If you skip this step, your burgers might not hold together very well, or they'll get really soggy. And I'm also adding a little bit of salt, which is gonna help draw out the extra moisture. And then I'm just gonna leave it for a little bit and give it an occasional squeeze to get out any of the extra moisture. In the meantime, I'm gonna work on some of my other ingredients, and I have 1 clove of garlic, which I'm gonna mince into a large bowl, and that's also gonna be for the turkey burgers. Next, I have a nice large tomato, and I'm just gonna be slicing up my tomatoes now along with some lettuce, which will also be for the turkey burgers. I'm just putting this on a plate, and then I will set it aside, and you actually don't even need this until you're ready to eat the turkey burgers. But I find just preparing some of these fresh ingredients in advance just makes eating so much easier if you just have everything ready to go, so that you're not having to think about your meals. You just have it there, you know it's a quick and easy meal option, which is one of the keys if you want to be fit and healthy, is just making it as easy as possible. I want to mention that with these meal preps, I often start out with the intention that these meals are for myself, but if I'm being completely honest, a lot of the times I end up sharing most of these meals with my family. They have been a game changer for us because we have so many activities and sports that we're bringing our kids to during the week, and some nights I do not have time to cook a healthy dinner, and I'm so thankful that I have a fridge full of healthy food options that the entire family will enjoy. Back to the meal prep here. I have chopped up some fresh cilantro and I've sliced up 1 lime, and then I also have some fresh pico de gallo, and I'm just putting all of these toppings together on 1 plate, so I have everything in one place, and I'm setting it aside. With the asparagus, as you can see, they look pretty short in the jar, and that's because when I bought them, I cut off the hard ends of the asparagus already, so that was one other job that I didn't have to think about today. So I recommend when you buy your asparagus, cut them right away, stick them in a jar of water so that they stay fresh, and just leave them in your fridge until you're ready to use them. That's just a little hack. And something else that you might not know about asparagus, don't quote me on this, I might need to fact check this, but I know a lot of fitness models, before they get on stage for a fitness competition, they will eat asparagus because it acts like a diuretic and it helps to get rid of some excess water weight that you might be holding on to. So just a little tip there, if you're looking to shed some of the water weight, eat your asparagus. I had to use asparagus this week. To prepare the asparagus, you just cut off the hard ends, give them a rinse and a dry, and I have a large tray that I'm putting some parchment paper on, and I'm just spreading out the asparagus. I'm gonna set this tray aside because I'm going to be using it for all of my grilled vegetable sides and my halloumi cheese, which also is gonna be going on the grill. So I'm gonna prep my portobello mushrooms. All you do is remove the stem and then take a spoon and gently scrape out the inside. And then I just use a wet paper towel and rub them so that if there's any dirt or anything on the mushrooms, it will come off easily. You don't wanna rinse them under water because they can get a little bit soggy, so I prefer to just rub them clean. And this is what I call meal prep brain. Yes, I just put my scale on top of my plate. How ridiculous. Okay, the reason I have my scale out is I wanted to know exactly how much cheese I should be putting on each burger. So if you care about specifics like your macros, your protein, your fats, that sort of thing, then you can always use a scale so that you know exactly how much you should be adding. But if you don't really care too much about that and you'd rather just, eyeball things, which is what I typically do, then don't worry about the scale. So I have all of my grilled items here. I've set them aside, and now I'm ready to make the turkey burgers. So now I'm ready to assemble the turkey burgers, and I have the garlic clove in this large bowl from earlier. I've added an egg and the dried zucchini, or at least it's as dry as I could get it. And then I'm adding 1 package of ground turkey. I have some almond flour. I'm adding a little bit of smoked paprika, a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and then some pepper. I like to use gloves when I'm forming raw meat just because it just makes it easier for cleanup. So I'm just mixing everything together and I'm forming it into 4 patties. Now with these turkey burgers, I actually decided to put them in the freezer while I prepped some of the other ingredients. And I do recommend doing this because it just helps the burgers kind of stay together and not fall apart. But you could always bake them or grill them right away. I'm sure it would be fine. But this is just an extra step that I took to ensure that my burgers would stay together. And now I'm working on some rice, and I wanted to do something a little bit different than a typical rice. So I decided to make it a Mexican style rice. I have no idea if this is authentic or not, but it turned out really good, and I recommend adding a little bit of these spices, some olive oil, and also some tomato paste to your rice while it's cooking. It really amped up the rice and it made it really yummy. So once the rice comes up to a boil, I just pop a lid on it and then turn down the heat so it's simmering and let it cook for about 10 to 12 minutes. In the meantime, I'm getting caught up on all of these dishes. I'm gonna head outside and preheat the barbecue so that it's nice and hot for my turkey burgers. But I just wanna mention, if you're afraid of the barbecue or you don't know how to use it or you need your husband or your dad's help to get it going, I have also added in an alternative method to cook the turkey burgers in the oven if you would rather that method. So make sure you refer to that document and I will have instructions for either the barbecue or the oven. Okay, next I'm going to work on the chocolate collagen protein bark. And I'm not usually a big fan of using the microwave, okay? I know it's not the best or the healthiest option. However, some days it's really convenient. And especially when I'm meal prepping, I'm trying to cut back on all of the dishes and all of the work involved. So today I'm gonna use the microwave, but if you are really against the microwave or you would rather use the stovetop, you can melt your chocolate and your coconut oil using a double broiler method with the glass bowl or a heat-proof bowl on top of a simmering pot of water. It's totally up to you, whichever method you choose. Today I am using the microwave, So with this collagen chocolate bark, the first thing you want to do is look for a high quality chocolate with hardly any or no sugar added at all. So just make sure you look at the ingredients. And then I'm also adding a little bit of coconut oil, and this is all going to melt together and become really smooth. And of course, I'm rubbing all of the extra on my body because, yeah, I love coconut oil. Once your chocolate has melted, you want to prepare a tray with parchment paper, and you want to make sure that whatever tray you're using can fit inside of your freezer. Next, I'm going to add some almond butter. Give it a really good stir because sometimes the oil kind of sits at the top. So just combine it all together, and then we're going to add it with the chocolate until it is smooth. And here is the star ingredient. We're adding 6 scoops of collagen powder, and my collagen is unflavored, so it'll just take on the flavor of whatever you're adding it to. And oh my, this chocolate bark turned out absolutely amazing. I know I mentioned earlier that I like to share my recipes with my family sometimes, but this is one that I am hiding at the back of my freezer because it is that good. And yeah, I'm being a little bit selfish, but seriously, it's so good. I added the chopped pistachios and some flaky sea salt. I'm taking out my turkey burgers now, and I'm putting in this chocolate bark so that it can get nice and hard before I chop it up. Now we're heading out to the grill, and you want to make sure that your barbecue grates have been scraped clean and well oiled so that your turkey burgers don't stick. Otherwise they could fall apart, but mine stayed together perfectly. I do think that putting them in the freezer to let them firm up for a little bit helped as well. If your zucchini doesn't get fully dry, I do recommend that you do that. And then I've just grilled my asparagus, and I have some portobello mushrooms, which I'm gonna be using like a bun. But if you don't like portobello mushrooms, you can just skip that altogether, and you can use the lettuce as a bun as well. But don't worry, we are using part of a real bun. I don't have anything against eating bread. I actually love eating bread. I just do so in moderation. Next, I'm going to be rinsing my canned vegetables for my pulled chicken bowls. I actually love using canned vegetables when I'm meal prepping because you don't even have to cook them. It's just so convenient. When you buy frozen vegetables, you often need to cook them first, but canned vegetables, you can just rinse some of the salt off, and it's just super easy and simple, and I love the flavor as well. And now my chicken is fully cooked, and I'm just going to use 2 forks and pull it all apart until it looks like this. Oh, so good, so delicious, so moist. I cannot recommend this method for cooking chicken breast enough. Now I'm gonna show you how I assemble this plate or this bowl when I'm ready to eat. So first I put down the rice, and then I add a really good portion of the chicken breast. And then on top of that, I'm just spooning the vegetables. I don't go easy on the vegetables. I love to load up on veggies. And then I also have these canned diced green chilies, which you can usually find next to like the taco stuff in your grocery store. And I also have some fresh pico de gallo. I love cilantro, so I'm adding that as well. I'll add a lime wedge on the side. And then instead of sour cream, I'm adding plain Greek yogurt. This recipe made enough for 4 servings, plus I found I actually had some chicken left over. So what I did was I just packaged up each of the containers, leaving out the Greek yogurt so that I could heat my meal before adding that. But with the leftover chicken, I put it in its own container, and you can add this to wraps, you can top salads with this chicken, save that, put it on the side, and use it however you like. With the turkey burgers, I decided to make them open-faced, and I used a thin sandwich bun. So I'm only using half, and I'm putting it on the bottom, and then I have a low sugar ketchup. I'm adding a little bit of that, and then I'm topping it with the turkey burger, of course, which has the cheese already on it, a tomato slice. I have some sliced pickles as well, and then I'm going to be using a little bit of lettuce, and that portobello mushroom will be like my top bun. The great thing about these burgers is they are an amazing source of lean protein. One of these burgers actually is 44 grams of protein, so that is pretty awesome. And that's also with the halloumi cheese, because halloumi cheese is also pretty high in protein. So I've just packaged all of the burgers together, and I'm keeping the lettuce and the tomatoes on the side, and also the asparagus on the side. Now my chocolate is nice and hard. I can cut it into pieces, and then I'm gonna put it in a storage container and find the best hiding place in my freezer that I can find so that my kids don't eat it all on me. It is so good. So here's all of the meals from today's meal prep, and if you wanna know exactly how much protein is in each serving, I have included that in the free document along with the calories and the fat and the carbs. All of that stuff is there for you. Well, that's it for today's meal prep. Hopefully you feel inspired or motivated to try some of these recipes at home. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment below which recipe you're most excited to try this week. And don't forget to check out my other meal prep, summer glow up, or any of my meal prep videos if you're looking for more high protein, healthy meal prep ideas. See you next week, guys. Bye for now.